Here where I am, where you are, Joseph. Good evening, everyone. We're going to start in about a second here. All right. And we begin by saying that adequate notice of the April the 25th, 2013 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, 1000 Route 10, Whippany, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Hanover Eagle, Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, by filing same with the Township Clerk. Have a roll call, please.
Committeeman Schleifer.
Here.
Committeeman Faramasca. Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola. Here. And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and join me to pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I need not say that we're not all informed of the events, the tragic events of this past week. And I would appreciate, as a committee, a moment of silence, if we could, for those who are injured and those who lost their lives in the tragedies of Boston this past weekend. Thank you. Thank you for that. We have a wonderful honor today, this evening. And it is, for me, definitely quite an honor. We have with us tonight, Freddie, where are you? Looking straight out. There you go. Were you hiding in the back? Jeez, that isn't going to work. The Township of Hanover, on occasion, has presented to outstanding citizens and or businesses in our community awards recognizing special service over time. And it goes without saying that tonight's award is to one of those very special businesses. Our Economic Development Committee some time ago had explored various businesses within the township under their business retention plan, and the one that stood out very, very clearly was Brunner's Garage. And very special to us in many ways, not just because of the family that's been there running that business for quite so long. And most recently, the family suffered a loss of Freddie, of your dad, and the tragic loss of him. But Township does want to recognize all of the years of service that you've had to the community. And I have to tell you, unusual as it is, and the name really pulls it together, I don't know how many places you could take a car today and a garage and get it fixed anymore. But you can take it to Freddie Brunner's and get a car fixed, which is unusual. But Fred's been a tremendous member of the community, not just through his business, but through his service to the community through the District 2 the Whippany Fire Company, of which he is president of the fire company. I've worked side by side with Fred, so I know the kind of individual he is. He worked diligently and is working very, very hard on the relocation of that new fire company. There are times that Freddie wanted to put his fist through the sheetrock at the fire company and aggravated with the way things go, but was dogmatic, stuck with it, and moved it forward, and very successfully, Freddie, for you and everyone on that committee. But you've been a wonderful member of this committee, this community. We would like to present this plaque. I'm going to read it. Okay, and it's from the Hanover Township's Distinguished Community Service Award, and it's presented to Fred C. Brunner III, the Brunner family, Brunner's Garage, in grateful recognition of Brunner's commitment and faithful service to Hanover Township, the community, for over 50 years, right? And it's signed by the Township Committee, the Township of Hanover, on this day, April the 25th. Freddie, come on forward. And bring Where's Mom?
Birthday girl.
He shouldn't be getting this award. You should be getting this.
She has put up a week.
Well, that's why she should get the award. By the way, I want you to take the fold out.
And by the way, we did win the softball game tonight.
Right. Make sure you won the game? By the way, what kind of a score? What'd you do?
It was 11-7.
All right, I like that. We have a special game coming up this weekend now too, don't we? There's a game for
Sunday.
Yes,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Special one. Special one, right. You're gonna hold on to that?
Okay.
Right, these guys are gonna tighten up with you over here. All right. You get it?
I got it.
You sure? Can you show me the one here?
Yeah,
This is the one that. You get it?
We're good.
Yeah.
Now you need to get you.
Come on, family.
Come on, girl.
Get it all in there.
I'll stand next to
Say cheers.
Cheers.
Say Jaws.
Jaws.
We're good.
Originally, yeah. Where?
Well, Hobart Avenue.
I know Hobart Avenue. We're talking about somebody, I'm sorry. Forget Hanover.
Now we have to go. Now we have to go to
You know, Hobart in Oak Ridge.
No, okay.
Oak
Yeah.
Ridge.
We're done?
We were on the west side of town.
Actually, it's Mom's birthday, so we might have to do a cake or something.
That was your birthday.
Yeah, I know, it's a whole thing to do tonight. Yep.
See my confirmation there? They're still talking about it. Nice job, girls. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. May 28th, 9 o'clock.
May 29th.
29th. I got corrected. I said 29th.
29th, over here.
That's the administrator.
Okay,
Very good.
welcome, Fred.
Very good.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Rich. I want to recognize some members of the Economic Development Committee are here, and particularly Rich Campbell. Rich, where are you? Sitting right in the front. Okay. Where are you? Chairman's right here, too. Oh, you did get back, right? Son of a gun. You got here so early, or he was about an hour early for this one, but in any event. Freddie, Rich did a wonderful job of really recommending you for this award, and we appreciate it, and we certainly supported him on that as we did the Economic Development Committee, so congratulations again. Nice job. Very good. When can I get the Jeep in for the oil sender?
I'll put you on my calendar.
You checked it out. She said it's all right. It's all right. Okay. Well, you guys can stick around for the rest of this meeting because it only gets more boring from here. But if you'd like us to give you a few minutes, you know, you're free to go and celebrate, or you can hang around and for the rest of the agenda. Your pleasure.
Motion to open to the public, Mr. Mayor.
Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
All right.
Okay, all in favor? See you, Henry.
Take care, guys.
I thought it was a fire commissioner meeting.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open to the public. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time may do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record.
Hello, My name is Rose McCauley. I live at 43 Longview Drive in Whippany. I'm here tonight as a parent of 2 children who attend Salem Drive Elementary School and as a representative of a concerned group of parents who would like to see the township move Election Day polling places out of our local schools, especially given recent events. We believe that open access to our schools on all election days poses an unnecessary risk to our children. As you might already know, I wrote a letter, as did several other parents in town, to Mr. Giorgio about this topic. And thanks to his quick reply, I do understand that there are specific requirements for a building and for a location in order to qualify as a polling place. I do realize that removing our local schools as polling places will not happen overnight, and I also realize that there are other governing bodies with partial authority over this decision, such as the County Board of Elections. After I received Mr. Giorgio's reply, I immediately sent a letter to the County Board of Elections requesting their cooperation toward this end. I'm here tonight because I would like to ask the Town Council 2 main questions about this topic. First, I would like more information about viable polling places in our township other than our schools. And second, I would like the Town Council to voice publicly its support for this change. In conclusion, I would like the parents, the boards of education, meaning the K-8 board as well as the high school board, and the Town Council work cooperatively toward this goal, which would improve the safety and security of our local schools.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard at this time?
Hello, my name is Fred Partridge. I live at 805 Delwood Lane in the Oak Ridge Townhouses. I approached the committee once last year talking about the erosion of the Whippany River riverbank, which is adjacent to the Whippany paperboard property. And I'd just like to update you as to what I've done since then. I've been in touch. We've determined that the riverbanks are owned by the Morris County Parks Commission. So this past Monday night, my neighbor Dan Bird and I went to the Morris County Parks Commission meeting and informed them of what had happened. I had called and emailed Mr. Helmer, David Helmer of the Morris County Parks Commission, and that's with whom we spoke at the meeting last Monday night. There was an article, which I have here, that was in the Hanover Eagle, I believe, talking about the development of the Whippany paperboard site. And at the end of the article, it says that the property's owner has already put in several $1 million for land remediation, but including reconfiguring the Whippany River, removing a dam from it, and tearing down several buildings. Well, it struck me that if the developer of that property is going to reconfigure the Whippany River, that might aggravate the erosion of the right riverbank, which abuts the townhouse property. So when in conversation with the Parks Commission, they suggested that we hire an engineer to review the entire erosion and predict what might happen in the future. But it struck me that if the developer of the paperboard property is going to reconfigure the river, perhaps they should be doing, undertake the engineering.
Okay.
And the Parks Commission agreed. They will be in touch with the developer, or perhaps here. I just felt I should come and tell you what's going on and where we stand now.
I can give you a limited amount of information that we do have. And I say limited because there are various concepts that the township is looking at that involves the Whippany River. But regarding the River Park property that you refer to, the DEP has issued a memorandum to the developer that the river will be reconfigured if they develop that land. The lagoons they anticipate would be filled in, and the river itself would be, I would suppose, not being an engineer, redesigned in such a way that we're looking from our Economic Development Committee to get Patriots Path to run parallel with it so we can get some more park-like settings along the river, but that's a very nice thing. But let's go back to the engineering of the river. If the river has to be reconfigured, and it does, and the dam has to be removed, and it does, these are the state requirements as that property develops. And you see some of the land is being already prepared for development. Issues on the land have been remediation issues on the land have been taken care of. You see some grass being planted, trees being planted, shrubs and so forth. As the river erosion affects you, it should be the work of the developer to provide us with a study or a plan to remediate that as well, all the way down and through, and we could look at that. And I'm sure the DEP would want those kinds of studies done as well at the time that a design is submitted for the configuration of the river itself. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
But at this early stage, the planning board is reviewing additional concept plans. We will keep that in the forefront for you on the planning to make sure that your issues with the river are addressed with the property developer.
Very good.
We'll keep you advised.
Thank you.
Thank you. Floor is still open. Would anyone else like to be heard at this time? Okay. George, going back to our earlier speaker and comment on it, do you want to make any comment on the school board request for
Closing these schools for
We're
election.
actually,
George Capola, Committeeman Capola has been following this closely along with the County Board of Elections and better prepared to comment on this than I am.
I spoke with, I was at the last school board meeting, I spoke with Scott Pepper. Actually, there's only one election that's to be concerned, because the school board election has now moved to November. The general election in November, the school is closed. One of the things I recommended to Scott was perhaps you might want to consider closing that school for the June primary and allow for in-house training day. The object of what they're looking at is to try to find a new location. Obviously, it's not going to happen for the June primary. And I think what our chief of police is doing is providing a police officer at every polling location from the time it starts till it's concluded.
That's great.
Some of the places that were recommended, unfortunately, are not handicap accessible. You can have a facility that's not handicap restroom, but you cannot have a facility that's not handicap accessible. I say this because I just recently inspected 185 polling locations in all of Morris County. So it is an area that I plan to meet with Mr. Pepper and Mr. Giorgio and I to discuss it further with, I got the school board president here tonight, Brian Cahill, and perhaps with this personnel committee, and just discuss it further as a course of action on the one election day. Okay?
Okay, I would say just, schools are typically closed only on presidential election days. And so this coming November is not a presidential election day. School is not scheduled to be closed on election day.
Well, from my impression that from Scott was they do close it on general election.
Okay,
So-
I don't think that's in the current school calendar for the 2013-14 school year. And traditionally, that has not been the case, that it's only been closed, it was closed this past year because there was a presidential election. I am very happy to hear that there will be a police officer at the school at the primary day. That was one of the things that we talked with the Board of Education about, and that they also, supported our position on. I'm just wondering if there are other locations that could even be made temporarily handicapped accessible for one day or 2 days a year for voting purposes. To me, I think that is better than closing school for 2 days.
Well, unfortunately, under state statute, under Title 19A-2, this is something that has to come out of the Morris County Board of Elections. Okay, they're the ones that ultimately make the changes. So far, I have not seen one request for a change, So I don't know where they stand on, I mean, not for us, I'm out of 185 locations. As an example, we have 4 polling locations. Parsippany has 22. And of that 22, greater majority of them are schools, okay? Because it's, people want to, you know, if you're in a particular area, they want to vote in that particular area, rather than trying to centralize it, which would make it a very difficult process. But I think this is, right now, the security issue is with the police officer, and if this is something that we have to look as to a long term, we would have to look perhaps at shared cost or where some of these costs will come from.
Right. I guess
We are addressing it, because I know the committee has a real serious concern for the safety of our children. That's paramount, that's a given. So I think it's just, we gotta get through this primary, and prior to that, see where we could go with this whole process.
Right, and if, you know, I guess my other position is that if there's anything that we can do as parents, if you want us to, you know, some of us have written to the County Board of Elections already expressing our concern. If there's other steps that can be taken, you know, please let me know. I want to be an ally, a supporter in this. I don't want to, I'm not trying to fight against the council.
I think the school has, now, I'm not gonna, you know, I served a number of years on the school board. I think we have a number of in-house training days, and perhaps there's an area we have to take a look at. All right, it's only 2 elections a year, and if what you're saying is correct, because I was under the impression from my conversation with Mr. Pepper the other night that it is closed in November for the general, okay? Especially, you know, like this year is a governor's race and everything.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Yeah, you could be right now. I'm just going by what was mentioned to me. But we would have to look at these 2 elections, because we did have 3, but now it's down to 2.
Right, right. And that's great that the school board is no longer having a separate election day. I would just, you know, I would like to, I guess, know what our next step is. You know, I'm hearing you that there's nothing that can be done for June, and I expected that. I'm wondering if there's any steps that we can take in the meantime before November comes around, beyond what we've already done, or if I can just continue to encourage people to contact the County Board of Elections, or if you have any recommendations for me about what the next
George, who's
step
the,
to do would be.
Who's the chair? Who's the chair on County Board of Elections? Who? Is John?
And that would have to come from the county board.
Have you
in
met with
conjunction
John
the
Setti?
township.
No.
A very approachable fellow, and you might want to reach out to him. George can help you with that contact, and you can bring your issue to him as well.
Right.
He's got some ideas and thoughts. I'm sure he'll share them with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think John would be good. You raise a point on that we're all concerned with here, and have always been, and that's school security for our children, both in the elementary level, middle schools, and the high school level. Hanover's been doing something that I'm kind of boasting about lately, and I think it's great because other mayors in other towns are now picking up on it, and I think I'm just pleased that Hanover's taking the lead. Our chief of police will be retiring a certain amount of police portable radios for new ones, and they've been on order, the new ones. What we're going to be doing is meeting with Scott Pepper and meeting with Carol Grassi. I've met with their security people already, by the way, and we will be issuing the retired radios, the ones that we're stepping down with, to their security people. They'll be trained properly in their use. They can't be just used indiscriminately. But we think that will be the next highest level of protection in the school versus a police officer being at every door. Because we do have police patrolling the areas all the time, and these radios, once they're keyed and once a call goes out on them, that call is heard by every police officer in the area. So we think it's going to be a very valuable tool for security, and we're hoping other towns will join with us. And we're taking that program down to the state, seeing what kind of attention it can get there too.
That's great. You know, every little bit helps. So that's wonderful to hear. I'll be happy to share that with the Salem Drive community. So thank you, you know, for your support. I would love to follow this topic, and again, if you think of something that we can do, you can contact me through Salem. I'm the PTA president there. and we'll keep each other
Hey,
updated.
listen, feel free to, if you stay in contact with me.
Sure.
I have Title 19 right here. I'm, more than happy to help you out in any way possible. If you want to make a contact with John Setti, I'll be glad to help you do that.
Thank you.
I'll drive you there, as a matter of fact, if you want.
Thank you.
He's a hard man to nail down, and then when you do get him, just make sure he puts his phone away.
True
He is
for many of us
constantly on
today.
that phone when
Too
you talk
true.
with him. I want
Thank
to
you.
smash it. Okay? But anyway, yes, please, I'm available for you. After the meeting, I'll give you my email address. You want a tour of our facility, I'll show you all we have there, and be glad to help you out in any way possible.
Thank you.
It's something we could do, and, the thing is that you have a lot of residents that are so used to their voting within the proximity of their location. It's like the neighborhood school. Everybody's used to their neighborhood school, and, try to find another polling location within proximity of where you at, to accommodate that type of a function all day long, then that becomes a process that would have to be worked out with the Board of Elections and poor Mr. Giorgio, so. But look, after the meeting, I'll give you the information, and,
Great.
we can stay in touch.
Thank you.
Kathleen knows me.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to be heard at this time? Hearing none, seeing none. Motion to close?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator, you got the meeting.
Thank you. We have the approval of the regular Township Committee meeting minutes, February 28th and March 14th, and the bid reception committee meeting of March 26th. May we have a
So
motion for
moved.
approval? So moved by
Second.
Mr. Faramaska, seconded by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one ordinance for introduction this evening. It is docketed as ordinance number 15-13. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee amending and supplementing ordinance number 14-2012 and Chapter 61 of the Code of the Township entitled Salaries and Compensation, Personnel Policies, which chapter establishes regulations and rates of compensation for the officers and employees of the Township of Hanover. This ordinance will be further considered for public hearing and final passage at the Township Committee meeting on May 9th at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard will be given the opportunity to comment. The ordinance and the notice of introduction will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law. This ordinance establishes a cost of living adjustment of 2%, which is within the cap rate established by the state for all full-time civilian employees and part-time employees who are not covered by a collective bargaining unit, and is subject to each employee receiving a satisfactory job performance evaluation. May we have a motion for introduction?
moved.
So moved by Mr. Faramaska.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruno. And roll call for introduction. Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, we have a public hearing this evening on the transfer of an inactive license, plenary retail consumption license number 14-12, 33-011-008, held by Lalo LLC, and the transfer is to Hanover Hospitality Corporation, once again as a pocket license, an inactive license, until such time that it is transferred to a place. We have a report from the Detective Bureau that they've gone through all the background checks for all of the people involved with that license, and we have the report of Detective Thompson indicating that there's no reason to deny the purchase of the license by the Hanover Hospitality Corporation. We have also a memo from the Chief of Cedar Knolls Fire District Number 3, also stating that there is no reason to deny the transfer. The applicant has provided written notice in the Daily Record on 2 occasions, and also provided a copy of the purchase agreement for the transfer of the liquor license. So at this time, is there anyone in chambers wishing to comment on this person-to-person transfer of the liquor license from Lalo LLC to Hanover Hospitality Corporation? Okay, hearing none?
None?
May we then have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
And now on the resolution for approval, this is a resolution of the Township Committee approving a person-to-person transfer of plenary retail consumption, license number 14-1412-33-011-008, previously held by Lalo LLC as an inactive pocket license to Hanover Hospitality Corporation, also to be inactive until a place is found for the transfer. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Faramaska, seconded by Mr. Francioli and Mr. Capola. On roll call for approval, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye?
So approved. Sign that. Ladies and gentlemen, the next portion of business is the consent agenda of resolutions, which you find on the first page and the reverse side of the agenda. And are there any questions from members of the governing body concerning those resolutions?
Yes, Mr. Giorgio, I'd like to break out number 7 to be voted on separately.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Faramaska to vote only on resolutions 1 through 6 at this time. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda for items 1 through 6?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno. Second by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye?
Approved. And now Mr. Faramaska has requested a separate vote, but do you have a comment, Mr. Faramaska?
Yes. I'd like to move that this be approved on number 7, subject to the requirements stated in the letter from HSA Executive Director Michael Wynn to Mr. Stephen Vernakis, Vice President and Director of Development of Woodmont Properties, which we are stating within this the conditions of acceptance based upon Hanover Sewage Authority. So it's conditional based upon meeting these requirements.
Do you have a date of the letter?
Date of the letter is April 24th, 2013.
Okay.
Based on Committeeman Faramaska's comments entered into the record, that this resolution is a condition upon the approval of the requirements in the April 24th letter to Woodmont Realty Group from the Hanover Sewage Authority. Is there a motion for approval of the conditional resolution?
Additional clarification, these would be subject tos, and let it be known that the developer's agreement will, although the resolution may be approved tonight, the developer's agreement will not be signed by the mayor until the conditions are met.
So noted for the record.
Okay? Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Francioli, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye?
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the last item of business on the administrator's agenda are 2 raffle applications, also as a consent agenda. We have a bingo license number 2654 for St. John the Baptist Ukrainian Catholic Church, and raffle application 2655 for the Children's Institute. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schleifer, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk. and I thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. All right, gentlemen, are there any other comments from the Township Committee at this time?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd like to bring up an issue that Hanover was recognized by the Arbor Day Foundation. The Arbor Day Foundation named Hanover 2012 Tree City USA. This is the 6th year in a row Hanover has earned this national designation. In addition, thanks to our arborist, Lorraine Konopka, we have scheduled events which were held in all the local schools, to include Mount View Road, Bee Meadow School, and I believe Salem Drive will be tomorrow morning, where during that commemoration, the children partake in understanding what Arbor Day is all about, and a tree is planted at that school. So it's a significant recognition for the township, and it's great that we have the local schools involved with this. In addition, a reminder that this Saturday is the spring paper shred day. So all of that confidential information that you've been storing for many years that you no longer need and would like to have it safely destroyed at no cost and environmentally done properly, please come out to 10 Ridgedale Avenue to Employment Horizons, where members of the Hanover Township Green Team will be working with members of Employment Horizons to properly destroy these types of records in an environmental safe way. Please, if you do partake, less than 30 pounds, please, free of any metal, paper clips, rubber bands, etc., which are non-shreddable. So we encourage you to participate in it.
And take my tax records from 1958.
There you go. There you go. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. Gentlemen, any other members of the committee at this time?
One
Mayor
announcement
Dudo.
from Recreation pertaining to nice Little League event that's going to take place on Sunday right over at Veterans Field between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and in conjunction with our own Hanover Township Little League ball players. They'll be working with some handicapped children, some less fortunate children, what's called a challenger game. And there's 1 or 2 players from Hanover Township will be teamed up with each child to help them, assist them, help them run the bases, show them where to stand in the field, help them throw the ball. Very nice event. We've been doing it for several years, and certainly would encourage everybody to come out and cheer on both the Hanover players and the Challenger League players as well. So again, that's Sunday between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock over at Veterans Field.
Is it 1 o'clock or was somebody had given me 2 o'clock?
I think
Is
there's
it
2 separate games,
Two
and there's some
separate games?
festivities that start around 1.
1
so-
o'clock?
Yes.
Great day.
Great
Very
day.
good.
Great event.
Very good. George, anything?
Yeah, first of all, Veterans Alliance Memorial Day service on May 27th. 7 o'clock it starts over at the community center, and there will be transportation over to the parade site. We do have the memorial service right outside Town Hall. Landmark Commission is working in conjunction with the Recreation Department on the burial yachts. One of the favorite projects for our own Barbara Gelly, who passed away last year. But the burial yards really is very significant, and they're going to do like a pathway with little placards to explain to people throughout the process, because we have people there from Revolutionary time and all, so they are working. We are not going to make that a major project for the Landmark Commission. They showed a few weeks back our own Don Cadu, who knows more about town than I think of anyone, gave rather a nice presentation on the old ironworks in Whippany and over at the Presbyterian Church, so it was very enlightening. That's it. I want to say
George.
thank you to Don.
Very good. Now that your calendars are getting all filled up, May 16th at St. John's Ukrainian Church, National Day of Prayer. I think all the committee's been advised of that as well. We'll all be there. All of the churches in Hanover Township will be represented. It's that evening, I believe it's 7 o'clock. But that's St. John's Ukrainian Church on May 16th. That's all we've got. All right. Motion once again to open the floor to the public.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor again is open to the public. Anyone who'd like to address the Township Committee may do so, giving us your name and address for the record. Seeing none, hearing none. Definitely none. Motion to close?
Motion to close.
All in
So moved.
favor?
Aye.
Motion to close. Motion for adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Adjourn. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Kathleen, don't go away yet. Don't go away.
Here's my mom. Now with the inception of it, I mean, it really.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I wanna